back. Man from Jersey and myself, Swagner. We're back. Episode probably like close to 40 now, I think. But we're just gonna be going over just kind of like what's been going on in the NBA, not in fantasy, like real life NBA stuff. It's good to see you, man.
Yo, it's good to see you too, man. We're back from a little bit of a hiatus, but we're trying to come back strong. We're like 15 games, I want to say, into the season, give or take. Some teams have played less. I think some teams might have even played like 16 or something, but give or take like 15 games in. And yeah, man, we're just gonna talk about some today, before I get ahead of myself, today we're focusing on strictly Eastern Conference. Next episode, we'll shine a light on the Western Conference. But yeah, today we're just talking about some Eastern Conference teams that have caught our attention, whether for good reasons or bad reasons, through this, like, I don't know, like first 1/6 of the season. And I think we should start off with number one, the Washington Wizards, who currently sit first in the East at 10 wins and 3 losses. I think it's safe to say that this team is a surprise to everyone. I don't know anyone who, unless they were just trolling and look really smart now, was saying in like August, "Hey, Washington Wizards, man, watch out for them. They might be the 1 seed early on or whatever through the first maybe like 20 games." But yeah, man. I mean, what you got on the Wizards, man?
So the last two games that they played, like so they're 10-3 right now, first in the entire East. And the last two games they played against the Magic and against the Pelicans, this man Bradley Beal, he didn't even play. You have like some personal thing. It said personal, but yeah, he's been out the last two games, but they still won. They beat Orlando, they beat the Pelicans, and the Magic game was 12-point victory. Pelicans was only five, but still they beat them. And then they beat the Cavs, they beat the Bucks, they beat the Grizzlies, they beat the Hawks, Celtics twice, Pacers and Raptors. The only team that they lost to that you probably say, okay, they should have lost that game is the Nets. Besides that, I feel like all the other games they could have won. Like they could have beat the Raptors because they had already beat them once before. They could have beat the Hawks. They had already beat them once before. So potentially, like they could have been with one loss to the Nets because they had beaten those other teams before. So, but yeah, they're looking really good right now. Spencer Dinwiddie's the real like big difference. That was the whole like probably the biggest, and Kuzma. So those two guys, it's been a big difference.
Yeah, man. I'm just gonna read off some notes that I wrote for Washington. So they had an interesting offseason, trading Westbrook to the Lakers, and they got that package around Kuzma, KCP, and was it Harrell? Was it those three?
Yeah,
I'm pretty
Montrezl.
sure it was those three. And I felt this way even when they made that trade in the offseason. I looked through their roster and I said, hey, the Wizards have like 10 to 11 players that I actually kind of like. These are guys that you can play in a rotation. But with all that said, I was still kind of iffy on them. I didn't know how well they would do. And I wrote down, let me see how many reasons I got here. 5 reasons why I kind of didn't think that they would play as good as they are right now, right? So the first reason I put, they're coming into the season with 9 new players on the roster. So that's like, let's say you got a 15-man roster, 9 new players. Let's just say that's 60% of your roster is just new players. So obviously that's going to take some time for people to get acclimated. And usually when stuff like that happens, teams get off to a slow start unless you're a team like the Nets, maybe, where you have like 3 superstars or something. But there's no clear cut superstar on Washington. So it was fair to think that, okay, they're going to get off to a slow start, or there was a high chance of them getting off to a slow start. Second reason was they signed Spencer Dinwiddie. This guy was literally coming off an ACL injury. You know, that's you tell me, man, because I feel like you know more. Is that the worst injury you can get in basketball besides like some spinal stuff?
Well, the Achilles one is pretty bad. So yeah, those are probably the two, Achilles and ACL.
Yeah, so he was their flashy offseason signing, and this guy's coming off a ACL injury. That's the second reason. The third reason was Thomas Bryant. This dude also had an ACL injury last season in January, and he's not expected to come back for I think a couple months from now. So you look around and you're like, hey, I don't know, man. There's just a couple strikes against this team. The fourth one was Montrezl Harrell because it was interesting with him. Last season for the Lakers, he was averaging 23 minutes a game. And I don't know if you realized it, but in the playoffs last year, the Lakers lost in, I think, I don't know what they lost to in Phoenix, but it said he only played 4 games for the Lakers. So probably one of those games was a DMP, didn't even play. He averaged 10 minutes a game in the playoffs for the Lakers last season. So when something like that happens, you also got to keep an eye on that because you're like, yo, that's the type of thing that can make or break someone. Like you don't know someone's like their motor, you know? Some guys can get defeated by that. Some guys could use that as like fuel. So those are just some of the reasons that I had stacked against the Wizards. But they've come out here, man, and they've proved everyone wrong, man. Number one in the East. And I just want to also say, because I hate it, but I guess it just is like another knock on Westbrook because they get rid of Russell Westbrook, just bring in 3 role players, and they're a way better team, or at least they look like through the first 13 games.
Yeah, and it does seem like there's kind of like 4 or 5 players that are always like involved. Like if you look online, you could see like on ESPN there they could show you the schedule and you can see a lot of information here. It shows you who had like the game high in points, who had the game high in rebounds and game high in assists. And the game high in points isn't always Beal. Like sometimes it's Beal, sometimes it's Dinwiddie, sometimes you see Harrell. A lot of them are Beal, but you do have like a little mix in there, you know? And then game high in rebounds is shockingly a lot of Kuzma. So that's like a big thing from one of your like not like a power forward center to be dominating in rebounds like that. Like that's a good sign because then you also have the big guys getting rebounds too. That's a really good rebounding team. And then the high in assist is always Dinwiddie or Beal. There was one random Montrezl. He had randomly he had 7 assists, but that was just like in the last game against Orlando. So maybe they were like sitting some guys or something. But besides that, it's Beal and Dinwiddie, and that's good, man. You got 2 ball handlers that could really help out to facilitate, and it's not just all on Beal or all on Dinwiddie. So it just seems like it's a very balanced team. You don't have like one guy doing one thing, like because obviously Beal and Dinwiddie are like not like some weak rebounding guys. Like they still get 5+ rebounds. So it's a really like all around good team. Even this guy Avdija, that guy led the team in rebounds the last game. So they just got an all around like balanced squad.
Yeah, so I just want to mention this. We're shooting this on November 16th. It's currently 10:27 p.m. So that's the info. That's what we have to work with right now. Obviously, things might change in the next couple of days, but you were mentioning like some of the stats from the Wizards players, and
Yeah.
I had them right here, bro. Kuzma on the season so far, he's putting up 14 and a half points, 9.1 rebounds a game. So
Yeah.
yeah, that one shocked me too, man. That's pretty solid, man. 9 rebounds from Kuzma,
Yeah, I have him
especially.
on my fantasy team, and he's coming so clutch.
Yeah, I remember when I always got to mention the Nets, but I remember when the Nets had Brook Lopez, and this guy's a solid 7 feet, and he would get like 5 rebounds a game. And I would always think to myself, like, how can you not get more rebounds than that, bro? And then you have, obviously nowadays, there's more shots getting put up, but Kuzma's averaging 9 rebounds, and he's looking good, man. And then Montrez is putting up 18 points, 8.5 rebounds. So it might seem redundant, but that's a nice combo right there, man. That's good rebounds and good points from those guys. And then 6 assists a game from Spencer Dinwiddie, 5.6 from Bradley Beal. That's solid, man. Like I agree with you 100%. They got guys who like they got a good amount of guys who could rebound, a good amount of guys who could play make, a good amount of guys who could hit threes. They're just an overall solid team. Bradley Beal's averaging over 23 points a game. So he stepped up as a leader for the team. And I want to say this too, man. On the year, the Wizards are averaging 108.4 points a game. Which is 15th in offensive rating in the NBA. So it's middle of the pack. Those four players I mentioned, Bradley Beal, Montrezl Harrell, Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyle Kuzma, those guys are averaging 72.8 points per game between those four players, which if you average it is like 18 point something points per game on average between those four guys. That's really good, man. To know that you can get that from these four guys who can average like on average 18 a game, give or take, is good, man.
Yeah, and then they say that Kuzma should be back. I mean, sorry, they say that Beal should be back from that personal issue. Hopefully he is, because like it sucks when like you don't have all the players, and then maybe you go on a losing streak or something. But if they could keep it up, man, that'd be nice to see. Because um, I was looking at the odds, and they were like middle of the pack and odds to win the championship, and it's pretty cool, man. That's like something that really shows you like what were people thinking before the season started, you know? Like they're literally like middle of the pack. Pretty much you're not gonna win. And then they're up there, man. They're like second best team in the league.
Yeah. I also noticed, bro, opponents' points per game, they're letting up 103.5. Defensive rating is fifth in the NBA. So they're getting it done on defense. That's most likely why they're as good as they are. Because you could put up points, but if you're not playing defense, like you could easily be middle of the pack or even like a sub 500 team. Because what good is it to score 110 if you're giving up 115? You know what I mean? So they're getting it done on
Yeah.
defense. That's the main reason, bro. And you have to remember, bro. They do not have Thomas Bryant, and they don't have what's his name, Hachimura.
Yeah.
He's out for personal reasons too. I don't know I don't
Mm.
know. It's personal, but those are two guys that when I was looking at their rotation in the offseason, I said these are guys that are going to play for them. They're not even playing. They're not
Yeah, well
even.
that's a good way to transition that whole thing about like if you if you give up more points than you actually put up. Because there's two teams in the East that they do that. They give up more than they score. That are or three teams that are pretty noticeable. You want to talk
Yeah.
about those?
Wait, I just want before we move on, I kind of want to get a prediction from you. Like, what do you see from Washington from here on out? You think they stay this hot? You think they're gonna
So
slide?
if you look at their schedule, so this might transition to everything else we're going to talk about. But if you look at their schedule, in the next like maybe 20 games, they're going against Charlotte, Miami twice again, Charlotte again. That's four games against really tough teams. Then two really easy teams, the New Orleans Hornets, which they already beat. I mean, New Orleans Pelicans, my bad. And the OKC Thunder. So those two they should win. Then they go against Dallas in Dallas. It's gonna be tough. San Antonio, Minnesota, they should win. Against Cleveland, you don't know. Cleveland, they're showing up, but you don't know if Mobley's out. Then Toronto, Indiana, Detroit. That's like three games they could win. Utah, Denver, Sacramento, Phoenix, Utah, the Nets, the Knicks, the Sixers. So all these games, I feel like the next two games, the next four games, like Charlotte, Miami, Charlotte, those are tough. Then you got two easy ones, and you got a hard one, and an easy one, then a hard one. They don't have an easy game again until like January 9th against Orlando or January 5th against Houston. So they're gonna have like a solid month, month and a half of like a lot of difficult games. If they have Beal back, I think they can go probably like 60% wins on that. And they should stay within the top four. That's my prediction. But I don't think they're gonna stay top dog, man. Like Brooklyn just got their asses whooped by Golden State, but that's like without Joe Harris, without Paul Millsap, and then Kevin Durant saying that his shoulder hurts. So I don't know. That's a tough one against Golden State. But besides that, the Nets are looking good too. So I don't think I don't think the Wizards are gonna keep the top spot holding off the Nets or the Bulls, but we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, you know, it's a nice feel good story. It's a good start for them, but overall, I just feel like you got to have two, three great players in today's NBA. They have one good one and then just, solid role players. I just don't see them staying this hot. I think they slip. Worst case scenario, because remember, this still 67, what is it, 13? How many games is this season? Is it 72? What is it this year?
No, it's supposed to be 82.
82. So they still got
Yeah.
69 games, man. That's a long way to go. I
Yeah,
think
but
they could even
if you look
like
at
just yeah.
if you look at the standings, number one is Wizards, number two is Bulls. Bulls without Vucevic right now for a few days. Nets without Kyrie. That's a big thing. If Kyrie comes back, everything could change. The Heat, they're a good team. They're really close, only down by two games. Um, and then after that, it's the Cavs. Like I don't know. Like the Cavs can go up and down. The Knicks go up and down. The Sixers, I don't know what's going on with them. The Hornets are super up and down. Boston super up and down. Toronto's not that good to me. The Bucks, I don't know what's going on with them. And the Hawks are struggling. So I don't really see anybody besides the top four teams like competing with the Wizards. Do you see another team competing with them?
No, that's what I'm trying to say. I think best case scenario for them, they can go fourth seed, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they just slip out of home court advantage. But I do think ultimately they will be good enough to make the playoffs. I don't think they'll slide out of the playoffs, but there's still 69 more games to play. So, anything could really happen. But that's just my prediction. I think they make the playoffs, but they could, man. They could slip out of home court advantage because I don't know. It's just how long can these guys keep it up, man? Like how long can Kuzma continue this level of production? Montrezl Harrell. I don't know. You just gotta watch it. We gotta watch how it plays out.
Yeah, I'm predicting they keep it up. Like they're not gonna let down. It's a balanced offense, so it's not like one guy's getting freaking all the like you saw like today, man. Like Steph Curry, he scored 37 and he only played 29 minutes. So that's good. But if you have a guy like Kevin Durant scoring 19 on 32 minutes, like like things are gonna start breaking down, you know? Like you can't keep that up forever. Like the thing with Curry, that's really nice, man. You score way more than the minutes you play. That's nice. So I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do with load management and all that. But obviously right now Beal isn't playing. So you could look at that and kind of see like how many minutes they're all playing. I'm looking at it right now just to see. In the box score of the last game that Beal played, Beal played 37 minutes against the Cavs. Kuzma played 35. Dinwiddie played 30. Harrell played 26. So like Beal's putting in a lot of minutes. So you're right, man. Maybe I don't know if Beal gets hurt or something, but if somehow they could like reduce his minutes a little bit, which obviously he didn't play the last two games, so that's definitely reducing some minutes. But we'll see if they could load manage a little bit.
Yeah. Um, they could, because like I said, they got a good amount of solid players, so they could load manage. It's not like they're just super top heavy and then just fall off a cliff after that.
But this year they're doing a lot of that where like teams are playing each other like almost back to back, dude. Like literally they're playing Miami back to back. Like one game at Miami, one game in Washington, and then they go back to Charlotte. Like they're trying to do that for I guess COVID. So seeing these teams back to back is a little weird. I don't know how teams are taking this.
Yeah. But yeah, man, you want to move on from the Wiz?
Yeah, where are we going now?
Another team I had was Chicago, so they're second in the East. So I guess we just do them next.
Oh hell yeah, man. That's a team you said it from the beginning. The Bulls and the Warriors, man. The Bulls, they're good.
Yeah, those are the two teams I'm keeping my eyes on this year, the Bulls and the Warriors, and they're both making me look pretty good so far. So yeah, the Bulls are second in the East as of the day of this video, 10-4. And I mean, I can speak for me personally. We did the Chicago Bulls off-season video where we were like running through all the teams. And when we got to Chicago, man, I told you, I love their offseason. Getting DeRozan, getting who else did they get? Caruso. Then who was the last guy they got?
Lonzo.
Lonzo
Lonzo.
Ball. Yeah, that was just good. Like on paper, you saw their potential starting five, and you said, why can't this team be competitive in the East? And I even told you, don't be surprised if at the end of the year they're a top four seed and they got home court advantage. It's only 14 games, but they're second in the East, and all of their offseason signings so far have played pretty well, man. Like they've hit home runs on all of them. So, for example, DeMar DeRozan, he's averaging 26.9 points a game for them. He's their leading scorer. Him and Zach LaVine are combining for a little over 53 points a game between those two. 53 points from those two guys. That's a solid 1-2 punch. You look at Lonzo Ball. I don't have his averages, but they're pretty much Lonzo-esque. You know, he gives you some points, he gives you some rebounds, he gives you some assists, solid ones for a point guard. And the biggest thing that I took when I was researching Lonzo Ball, this guy is shooting a career best 44% from threes this year on 7 attempts a game. This is a guy that people were clowning his form his first year or two in the NBA because he had that weird shot where he put his hands in front of his face. Hey, Ben Simmons, take notes, man. You get in the gym, you work on your shot. So far through 13 games, man, 44% from three. He's hitting a little over three threes a game. And the last one, Alex Caruso, man. Did you know that of all the NBA players, this guy has the second most steals in the NBA so far this year, only behind Gary Trent Jr. He's averaging, I think, like 2 point something, or it might even be 3 steals a game. And he's a hustle guy. Exactly what he was doing for the Lakers is what he's doing now for the Bulls, and he's helped them weather the storm from Patrick Williams getting injured. Like I don't know if you know, but Patrick Williams, dude had like a wrist surgery or something. I think it was. He's out for the year. And if they didn't have Caruso, that fifth guy that you could plug in with those lineups with like Lonzo, DeRozan, and all them, like I don't know, man. That to me, that was worth something. That was an amazing signing for them. And yeah, man, just I'm looking like a genius right now on the Chicago Bulls, bro. I really like their team, and they're making me look good.
Yeah, man. I have Lonzo Ball on my fantasy team, man, and he's doing great things, man. Yesterday he hit 7 threes against the Lakers. It's freaking awesome. That,
I saw online he had more threes than the entire Lakers team in that game. So
yeah, bro. I have Buddy Healed and him on my team. So freaking raining threes, man. I hit like over 100 threes the last week, like my team.
that's
It's
pretty
pretty
beast,
crazy.
man.
Yeah, and then Lonzo still he gets steals.
I think it was like 2 point something.
What right now it says 1.9 like
Oh,
on the fantasy thing. But Caruso gets 2.5. So both those guys getting almost two steals on the same team. That's defense right there. And then they don't even have Vucevic the last few games because of COVID, I think. So when he comes back, then they got a bigger presence down low. DeRozan is on fire. He's scoring like crazy. Levine scores. Dude, it's a scary squad, man. I think the Bulls, if they can get like obviously the Williams thing was an issue. So if they could get one guy to really like come up like as a rim protector or something like that, I think they're pretty much on point to like win the championship. But that's just me.
I mean, you mentioned you said a rim protector.
Yeah.
So defense, that's a good segue, man. Chicago Bulls are sixth in defensive rating this year. Sixth in defensive rating, 10th in offensive rating. They're in the top 10 in both of those. They're scoring and they're pretty good on defense. And that's how you become 10-3. And I just want to
Yeah.
mention too, with Vucevic, because you said I didn't know it was COVID, but I knew he hasn't played in the last couple of games. Interesting thing with him, and I was looking at his percentages, they're pretty bad this year. Like he's not shooting as well as he has in other years. But even with that, 13.6 points, basically 11 rebounds, and 4.3 assists from Vooch. 4.3 assists. That's beautiful from your center, man. You got a center averaging almost 4.5 assists a game. So, yeah, man. When they get him back, they're just gonna become even scarier.
Yeah,
And
they
I
just
I
they
love
don't
him. I
have
love the
anybody who
Bulls.
gets blocks. Like they have nobody who gets blocks.
I feel like this is that point where you look around is like, is Bismack Biyombo on the team? If he's
Try to
not,
get him, yeah.
yeah, sign that guy because that's practically all he does, just block shots.
Yeah, besides that, like their offense is like they don't have any problem scoring. So I think they're good with that.
I was gonna say Hassan Whiteside too, but I don't know if Utah would, you know, just be jumping to like give him up. But
Be
yeah,
weird.
yeah, definitely, man. Shot blocker. Uh, I really don't have anything else to say about the Bulls, man. You got anything else?
Oh, with the Bulls, the one thing I saw was like obviously I don't know if you saw it, but they lost by 1 point against the Knicks. Like they were 4-0 and they lost by 1 point. And then they lost twice against the 76ers back to back. And then they lost against Golden State by a lot. Like they got destroyed by Golden State. So Golden State is pretty crazy right now. Um, so that's like obviously one loss, but the other three games are pretty close. Like it's not like they were getting destroyed or anything. So it just seems like this team is destined for more because like obviously that first loss to the Knicks, that was 5 games into the season. So I feel like they're much better now.
Yeah, my bad. I know earlier I said the Bulls were 10-3. Yeah, 10-4. Let's do prediction, man. What do you see from the Bulls for the rest of this year?
I think they're number one, man. Number one in the East.
You think they're number one?
Yeah, man. Like especially when Vucevic comes back, I don't see anybody really like challenging them. Especially, they like I said, they're like gelling. Like they're getting better with each other, and they're already this good. You know what I mean? So like, it doesn't seem like far fetched to be like, yo, these guys are gonna get better. Like they could get better.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, man, it's tough to say this early who's going to be number one, but I do think they're going to be a top three team. To me, it's Nets, Miami, and the Bulls. Those are like the which of those is going to be number one? It could go either way with them, but I don't see them slipping out of three. I don't think so. They look too good, man. They look too good.
Okay. So where we going next? The Nets?
No, I actually wanted to talk about. I didn't take any notes on the Nets. So I mean, if you want to do the Nets, we could do. But I was gonna say Cleveland.
All right. Yeah. Basically, with the Nets, obviously we're Nets fans, but I think
Well,
with the Nets is like they're a game out of first place, and they don't have Kyrie. So I don't know, man. They're obviously still really good without Kyrie. They can still perform. They still have all these other players, like benchy players that are still really good. So as long as like Harden is playing really well, so if they just keep in that top three, don't get too far away, like or just get to first place and just stay in first the whole way and just give their guys some rest. It's another championship potential team, especially if like for some reason Kyrie's able to come back without getting vaccinated. Yeah, it's just they're one of the contenders, man.
yeah, and they played Golden State today. They got spanked by I didn't see the final score, but at one point they were almost down by 30. And numerous times the announcer said it. The Nets are without Joe Harris, without Nick Claxton, and without Paul Millsap, and obviously Kyrie Irving. But I feel like Kyrie's the I don't know if Kyrie Irving plays this year. To be 100% honest with you, I don't think he will. But those other three guys, those are key rotation guys, especially Joe Harris. It's still hard to forgive him for last season's playoffs. Just guy couldn't shoot a rock in the ocean, but he's still a 3-point shooter. You still got to respect it. And yeah, man, just it doesn't even feel like the Nets have even really played as good as they should. And like you said, they're still right there. It could take number one. And if they get healthy and just things start gelling, I don't even know if James Harden's in shape, but if James Harden gets in real good shape, yeah, definitely they could take it. They can go to first seed.
Yeah, and obviously these rule changes are a big deal. Like it's not like it's not been easy for James Harden and some of these players with these rule changes, but they'll get used to it. They're still almost in first place, so that's
By
pretty
the
much
way,
it.
I love the rule change, bro. That stuff was getting out of control.
It's gotten a lot more physical, man. I see some guys getting in some fights and shit.
I'd rather see that than see some guy literally lean in a good 6 inches
Yeah.
to try and draw a foul. Like that stuff, bro, I think you can agree with me. It literally at some point just got out of control. Like,
I'll be honest, it feels like more like playground basketball now. Like, cause when we're in the park, there's no refs. Like, you're not saying like, oh man, like that was an offensive foul, like some bullshit like that. Like, there's none of that in the park unless you're really like the only times I ever heard somebody call an offensive foul was when I was like almost like physically gonna fight the guy. You know what I mean? Like that's when a guy decides to do an offensive foul and I truck him and then like he gets angry because I dropped him on the ground and then you end up fighting with somebody. That's the only time. Like if you're gonna do an offensive foul, you're pretty much saying, okay, we're gonna fight. Like that's that's like the truth of it. But in the NBA, the offensive foul is like this thing where like everyone just tries to like throw their body in the way of people and like not even really like try to defend it or steal the ball. They just throw themselves in front. And I understand it's like part of the game. But then on the offensive side, to do that, where you're just like throwing yourself on the guy to say he's fouling you in the park, that doesn't work. Like that's just a weird thing. So yeah, it's more like playground basketball now. I like it.
yeah, I'm really glad they got rid of that stupid lean in to draw the foul stuff. Remember when I showed you the thing of what was his name? Shaquille Harrison or something? I think it was Bulls Lakers. and the guy literally got the Laker player to jump, had his back fully to the basket, bro, flung it over over his head, yo.
Yeah.
And because he got this guy to jump into him, he literally got three free throws.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
it's weird.
No
I
one,
don't know.
no one's gonna shoot like that unless it's the only time that that would actually happen. Maybe if you're like, okay, there's 1 second, this guy just he's trying to get it towards the rim because whatever, like he's just trying to shoot it.
Yeah.
But no one's gonna just shoot that shot with like 10 seconds on the clock or something. So yeah,
Yeah,
glad
and
they did that.
the leg kick thing where like they would shoot it and like stick their leg out, and then
Yeah.
because the person touched their leg all the way over here, it affected their shot. I don't know. That one
Yeah,
was weird too.
they're actually calling that offensive foul now. So good, 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 man. Let's move
Yeah.
on, bro. Next team I had was Cleveland. Cleveland, this is for you. Shout out to all our Cleveland fans. You guys were right, or at least you guys look pretty good so far, man. It's 15 games for Cleveland, fifth in the East, 9-6. Normally, we're talking. Let's talk the last 20 years for Cleveland. Pre-LeBron, and then like after LeBron leaves the first time, and then like after LeBron leaves the second time. Pretty much all that time, just last 20 years done without LeBron. 15 games in for Cleveland, they're usually looking like 4-11. So you'll take you'll take 9-6, bro, not having LeBron. And Cavs fans, shit, man, I don't want to steal the show, man, but like me and you both, we can say it, right? Did you have high expectations for Cleveland in the offseason?
What do you mean high? Like top four?
Did you think they would even be a playoff team?
Yeah, I thought they could be a playoff team. Like it's not like all right, we gotta go over this again. There's 10 teams that are making the playoffs this year. It's crazy. They're doing this thing again. So only 5 teams are left out of the playoffs. So it's not even that hard to make the playoffs anymore. Like it's kind of crazy. So with this format, yeah, I thought they would at least be the 10th worst team in the league, like in the conference. Like it wasn't impossible. Almost being the number 4 seed. No, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about the play in, but yeah, I had Cleveland like about there, like 10 through like 12 seed. They could have finished anywhere in there for me. But even then, that's how high are your expectations if you're like, yeah, Cleveland could have been like a 10 seed, and getting into the playoffs on like a play in. That's kind of the expectations I had for them, right?
And they're almost there. Like if they would have lost like 2 more games, they'd be the 10th seed. So this is why like the 15 games into the season, I'm not gonna go crazy about it.
Yeah, but they they are looking good so far. I'm just gonna mention a couple reasons why in the offseason I was going so hard on Cleveland to the point where their fans were ripping us in the comment sections. So let's just look at some of the things that they did in the offseason. They drafted Evan Mobley. I don't know what pick they drafted him with, third, second, I don't know. Like it's not a bad selection, bro. Like if you looked at Cleveland's roster, they needed talent everywhere. They took Evan Mobley. Okay, that was fine. This guy's obviously a big man. Then they started doing all that weird stuff, signing Jared Allen 5 years, 100 million, sign and trade for Laurie Markkinen 4 years, 67 million. It just seems like these are long contracts and you're tying yourself into a lot of money. You're 167 mil for those two guys who are also big men, same position as the guy you just drafted. So it just looked odd. Like I looked at their roster and I was like, what are you doing here, Cleveland? Like, where are you going to get all these minutes for all these bigs? You still have Kevin Love. And they also signed Taco Fall in the offseason. So it's just hella big men, bro. It's just hella big men, and you're committing all your money to these big men. And you can even say, like, okay, this makes no sense because now you're going to stunt the growth of the guy you just drafted. Now is he going to be playing like behind Laurie Markkinen or something? It just seems super weird. That was the main reason I didn't like their offseason. The other acquisition they had was getting Ricky Rubio, who at this point in his career, he basically looks like a journeyman. He's just going from team to team, stays there for a year or two. No one really loves him, and they get rid of him. So nothing really stood out for me from Cleveland. And their backcourt, I it just always seemed weird to me. It's like Garland and Sexton are their point guard and shooting guard. These dudes are both 6'1". That's a really, really, really short backcourt. So you take all that into consideration, it just seemed like such a weird team, bro. It's like now you got hella bigs and then a really, really, really small backcourt. But I mean, I don't know, man. You got anything to say about that?
Yeah, Mobley's injured.
Yeah, he's injured right now. He's injured right
Sex,
now. I was gonna
Sex,
wait.
Sexton is injured.
Yeah, I was gonna wait till the end for that. But yeah, those guys are injured. That's not gonna make it any easier for Cleveland. But
Yeah, I don't see this. I don't know. I think it's too early, man. Like if you just look at these wins, like they won against the Celtics by 2 points. Uh, they won against the Raptors by 1 point. They won against the Trailblazers by three. They won against the Hornets by three. Like, there's a lot of really close games that could have gone either way. So it's not like something like, man, like this team is like overperforming or anything like that. Like it's just like some of these games are just kind of close games, and then they just like whoever they beat, like they beat the Pistons, they beat the Celtics, they beat the Knicks, they beat the Raptors, they beat the Trailblazers, the Hornets. Maybe you could say that's a good team, but they're all over the place. They beat the Clippers. The Nuggets is a good victory. That's a really good victory. But then they beat the Hawks. So like, are any of these teams like crazy teams? Like they're going against the Nets next. They're going against the Nets tomorrow. So that's a big test, man. All the other teams that they've won against, I don't see anything that stands out like, yo, they beat a really good team. Like they beat all these teams that are like not doing so hot.
maybe I might be trying to give Cleveland their props, but uh, I know bad teams find ways to lose games that they're kind of supposed to win. So at least Cleveland's winning these games they're supposed to. But
Yeah, so that team is definitely the Cavs. They're doing good for now. Hopefully they keep it up, man. But they got hit with some injuries recently. But they're going against the Nets tomorrow, so that's a big test. If they beat the Nets, man, I'm a believer.
yeah,
That's it. That's
um,
it, man.
just to break it down on Cleveland, they're pretty good in defense, ninth in defensive rating. And shout out to Ricky Rubio because I was clowning that transaction. He's averaging 14.7 and 6.5 on the year. So I guess that trade was a little better than I thought. And shout out to Jared Allen because he's actually putting up a 14 and 11. So maybe the 100 mil was worth it. But you know, you brought up a good point. Mobley's out 2 to 4 weeks. Sexton torn meniscus out indefinitely. So with those, I'll segue into my prediction for Cleveland. I think they are going to take a significant slip in the standings and probably fall into like that eighth, ninth, 10th spot, like I thought they would. But it's a shame it has to come like this, man, because Sexton's their leading scorer. Now he's out. Mobley was putting up 14 and 8. You lose that production. Unfortunate times for Cleveland fans. What do you think? What's your prediction?
Yeah, man. The East is super competitive. I honestly don't know. Like the Pacers, the Hawks, and the Bucks are right now not even in the top 10. That's I don't know how they're not gonna end up being in the top 10. It's crazy, but we'll see, man. Those someone has to get out so them to get in. So who's it gonna be? and it doesn't seem like the Wizards are gonna get knocked out anytime soon because they were one of those teams that was like lower last year, like one of the lower teams. Uh, Cavs were obviously not in the playoffs last year. Uh, Hornets and then Raptors probably. It's tough, man. There's so many good teams right now. I don't even know what to really think. Like how are the Bucks gonna get back into this? The Hawks and the Pacers, and who's gonna get out? I think this is a great year for the NBA.
Me too, man. Me too. Um, but you think Cleveland? You think they slip significantly, or what do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I think they'll probably go down to like ninth or tenth seed.
Yeah,
But
for
that's only
sure,
two
man.
game difference right now. Like literally, if they lose against the Nets tomorrow, they can go down all the way to like the ninth seed
Yeah,
or like the eighth seed. Like it's crazy. If the other teams win and the Cavs lose, they could go from fifth to eighth pretty quick. So we'll
yeah.
see,
The
man.
the the odds are against them. So I'm I'm like 95% sure they're gonna slip to like the bottom of the East. That's a lot of production to lose. That's like 30 something points a game. How you gonna make that up? And like Sexton's indefinitely. Like, what the hell does that even mean? Like, there's not even like a timetable on him. So doesn't
Yeah,
look
it's
good,
gonna be
man.
over.
Yeah. Let's
Tomorrow.
get
Uh, tomorrow it's Boston at Atlanta. That's a pretty crucial game for moving up. Washington at Charlotte. That's gonna be big. Um, Besides that, there's not really like big matchups like East versus East. So yeah, those are two big matches, man. Or three. We could say Washington, Charlotte, Boston, Atlanta, Cleveland, and the Nets.
all
So
right,
those
so
three games right there.
I think that's a good segue. You mentioned Boston, Atlanta. Atlanta's another team I wanted to talk about
That's tomorrow, yeah.
because they currently sit 12th in the East, 6-9, 3 games under 500. I know you don't immediately hit the panic button. It's early on, but I just wanted to say Atlanta was 41-31 last season. But I don't know if you knew this because 41-31 is not like insanely good. It's like it's usually like 41-31 is like good for fifth, sixth seed, whatever. It's not incredible. But when they hired Nate McMillan last year, they finished the year 27-11 with him as the coach. Now that is a
My
good
man.
record. 27-11, that's a good record. He's still their head coach. They're 3 games under 500. They have pretty much the exact same roster that they did last season, and they haven't even really been struck by the injury bug. So I ask, why are they underperforming? And I'll answer my own question because me and you were texting earlier today, and I told you, hey, I found a stat about Atlanta that literally sums up their struggles. And it was insane, bro, when I just pieced this together. Atlanta has played 9 road games this year. Their road record is 1-8. Their home record is 5-1. They are literally the exact opposite. Like they're super cold on the road and really hot at home. It just so happens they've played more road games, 9 against 6. I'm gonna tell you what Atlanta does on the road and what they do at home. For those 9 games on the road, they put up 103.7 points a game, but they let up 113.7. On average, they're losing by 10 points on the road. At home, they're putting up 116.6. They're letting up 104.8. They're a plus 11.8 at home. That's pretty insane. Minus 10 on the road, plus 11.8 at home. They're a completely different team at home as opposed to on the road, which is usually the case. But to be this dramatic, that is the answer right there, bro. And I don't know, man. Like, it's fine to be that good at home, but if you want to be a legit contender, if you want to be a serious team, like you have to win on the road too, man. You can't be 1-8. That's bad. That's really bad. What do you think about that, man? That
Well,
was the
one
stat I
thing,
wanted to tell you.
that's a beautiful stat. I love the stats right there, man. That's beautiful. But they did get an injury hit, you know? Like they do have this guy named DeAndre Hunter that he's gonna miss 8 weeks after getting a surgery. So he was one of those guys that wasn't there last year either, I think. Like during the playoff run. They were missing him. So this guy just keeps getting injured. So hopefully he gets better, man. But he's like a integral part. Like he was supposed to be kind of like a role player. So hopefully he comes back. That is an injury problem. Um, and then like I said, the opposite of the Cavs. This is like perfect. Like we just do this right after the Cavs. If you look at their schedule, the Hawks have gone probably against the most difficult teams in the whole NBA. Like the first game of the season, they go against the Mavs. They destroy the Mavs. Destroy them, dude. 26
Mhm.
point victory. And then they go against the Cavs, the guys we were just talking about. And they lose to the Cavs by 6 points at the Cavs. And that's an example of your thing, an away game. So they suck away. The first game against the Mavs was at home. 26 point victory versus 6 point loss. Then they got a home game against the Pistons, 122 to 104. 18 point victory. They destroyed them. Then they go against the Pelicans. They beat them. Whatever. The Pelicans suck.
No,
Then
but
now they go again.
how much? How much though?
They beat the Pelicans away by 3 points.
So
They
look
only
at
won by
that.
three.
Away, they beat the Pelicans, no Zion, by only 3 points.
Yeah. But then this is where things get tough. They go against the Wizards, the 76ers, then the Wizards again, then the Nets, then the Jazz, then the Suns, then the Warriors, then the Jazz again, then the Nuggets. That's probably the hardest. What was that? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. That's probably the toughest 9 game stretch you go through. The toughest, dude. You're going against the Wizards twice, the best team in the East right now. The 76ers, who are a tough team to play against. The Nets, the Jazz 2 times, which I think is one of the best teams in the West. The Suns, the finals like loser last year, and then the Warriors, and then the Nuggets. Like, how much harder can you get, bro? And most of these games were away. Like the Nuggets, Jazz, Warriors, and Suns, all away games. The Nets, away game. One of the Wizards, away. One of the 76ers, away. It's one of those things, man. You just got to go by the numbers, like what you just said. They're gonna play half their games at home, half their games away. If they dominate at home and they win a few of them on the road, they're gonna be in the playoffs.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was basically what that's basically literally what I broke Atlanta down to is just they're horrible on the road and they're really good at home. They've just played more road games than home games. And my prediction for them is I still got them making the playoffs. I think they're just too good not to make it, but I'm not sure what seed. I don't know. You keep reminding me about the playing now. It's just something that I need to get used to now because obviously it was always 1 through 8. I don't think they'll be like a 10th seed or anything. I think they'll legit be in that top 8. Which one? I don't know. Probably 8, 7, 6. I just think they're too talented. But it is bad, man. It's bad to be 1-8 on the road. I don't care who you're playing. Like 1-8 is really bad for a team that was a surprise team last year, man. Like they took down the 1 seed in the playoffs. They took down Philly, and lost to the Bucks and I think six, who became the champs. Like they were the surprise team in the East last year, and you just can't come out and just be that bad on the road. The teams that are great find a way to win on the road and hold down home court advantage, like you said before. Um, did you give your prediction yet on Atlanta?
Yeah, I said they would just make the playoffs, just like pretty much what you said.
Yeah, we don't know what seed, but yeah, I think they'll make it too, man. You got anything else on Atlanta?
No, yeah, that's it. Like literally, if they win one game and Toronto loses one game, they're in the playoffs. Toronto isn't. It's pretty simple. Like it's crazy right now in the beginning. Like everyone's so tight. Like within 4 games to first place. Like it's crazy. Like from 10th seed to first place is 4 games. So it's all too close right now. I think once we get to 30 games, you're gonna start seeing a big difference. Like the 10th seed is gonna be probably like 8 games, 10 games away from first place. Then we'll kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, for sure, man. Just to keep, we got to keep saying it. It's early on, but even through 15 games, it doesn't mean that we can't say like there's a surprise team. Like the Wizards are a clear surprise team. Best record
Hell
in the
yeah.
East. Yeah, but let's move on to the last team I want to talk about. This the last one for tonight. We have 5 teams. Fifth one is Milwaukee Bucks,
Ooh.
defending NBA champions. They're currently 11th in the East, 6-8. And I don't want to get like too crazy about Milwaukee because like I don't know if you know, but they've had a lot of injuries so far. Like I could
Yeah, man. I got
rattle them off if you want, or if you just know
freaking Brooke
them.
Lopez. I had him for 1 game in fantasy, and
He's
then
only
he's
played
just been on the
one game.
bench.
He's only
Yeah,
played
dude.
one game, bro.
I'm pissed.
Look, so DiVincenzo hasn't played at all this year. This guy got injured last year. He's still not back. Brooke Lopez, 1 game played. Mind you, Milwaukee's played 14 games. Brooke Lopez, 1 game. Chris Middleton, 6 games played. Drew Holiday, 8 games. Bobby Portis, only 9 games. So this is one, two, three, four, five key contributors on this team last year have missed a significant amount of these first 14 games. So yeah, man, that's literally what it is, man. They don't have the bodies out there. They're not a healthy team. And I would honestly say that it's pretty good that they're 6-8. Like they could be like who says that they can't be like 4-10? They're literally riddled with injuries, man. And this one was the craziest thing I saw. Their points per game is down significantly from last year. Last year they put up 120.1 points a game. This year they're down to 107.9, which is like 12.2 points different. They're down 12 points a game from last year. That's a significant drop off. And it's because of all these injuries, man.
Yeah, and still Giannis is a beast, man. He's putting up still crazy numbers in fantasy, and he hasn't even missed a game, or like maybe one. Like I see he missed one in Boston, but besides that, the guy's unstoppable, man. He's playing really well. He's holding it down without everybody else. Putting up crazy numbers like 31 minutes a game, 39, 36, 38, 34. He's averaging like 33 minutes a game. So it's not like he's not out there.
Yeah, man. And quick one too. Grayson Allen. Milwaukee
Yeah.
acquired
In
him.
fantasy,
This guy's
fucking
doing
guy.
this guy's doing pretty good so far, man. He's getting about 30 minutes a game, putting up 16 points a game, shooting just below 44% from three. So that's looking like a pretty nice pickup from them. And I'll make my prediction now because that's literally all I have from Milwaukee. It literally goes with their health, man. If they can just get healthy, they start getting their guys back. Because Chris Middleton, he's literally their second best player. This guy's only played 6 of the games. Six of their what, 14?
But
Yeah,
it says he's coming back. He's coming back for tomorrow's game against Los Angeles,
so
against
that's
LA, the
perfect.
Lakers.
Yeah, I saw him and Lopez. It says day to day for both of them. So yeah, man, if they just start getting their players back and then they have Grayson Allen off the bench, like even if he's probably not going to average the 16, right? But if he can keep up that amazing 3-point percentage, that's just another weapon off the bench. So me personally, I'm not panicking on Milwaukee. I think they're still a very talented team. They're just, you know, injury bug hit them early. Hopefully they recover. And I got them making the playoffs, man. I do not see them slipping out. And I think they get to the one of the top teams in the East as the season progresses.
Yeah, for Lopez, it says he's still out for tomorrow's game. But for Middleton, it says probable for tomorrow's game. So it seems like he will play. It's a big deal, man. If he doesn't play, it's mostly all on Giannis. And then, like, if the role players could kind of help him out. But Brooke Lopez, it doesn't say anything, dude. It's weird. It's like even like the updates are just saying like we don't even know what's wrong with him. Like it just keeps saying sore back.
Did
So
you drop him or you still got him on your team?
no, I got him on this IR spot. Like we have some IR spots for COVID. So we just you could stash like some injured players or players that have COVID. Yeah, he's just been there since the first week, just sitting there.
Yeah, man.
He's good, man. For my team, like hitting threes and getting blocks, that's what I need.
That's what he's perfect for, bro. Get you those two and a half threes and those maybe three blocks. That's what he could do
Yeah.
on any given night.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
But
But that's all I had on Milwaukee, man. You got anything else to add?
no, man, that's beautiful. It's another episode of the 5230 podcast. I'm loving that we're back. Hopefully, like people like the new intro.
Yeah, man. Very interesting so far in the NBA, man. Like you said, this seems like one of the more evenly matched seasons that we've had in recent history. Like it
Yeah,
just doesn't
yeah,
seem like there's just this one team that you're like, they're the clear cut favorite, no doubt about it, they're gonna win. It's not the Warriors when they had Durant anymore, where it's like we know that they're gonna win, bro. Like we know. There's no one that's touching them. Even the Nets. Look at them tonight, bro. They just got spanked by Golden State,
yeah, man.
you know? But yeah, man. Thank you guys for watching, man. Another great episode. I'm the man from Jersey,
This is swag.
and we'll
We'll
see you
get you
motherfuckers
on.
on the next one.
We'll do a West Coast recap next episode. Be on the lookout for that. Like and subscribe. We're gonna do some more videos, and hopefully you guys get back in the flow. Peace.
Peace.